In other news now, it's been 24 hours or more since the gates of the Sabarimala shrine were opened to women devotees of all ages for the first time after the historic Supreme Court verdict last month that permitted the entry of women. But no woman from the banned group of 10 to 50 years of age has made it to that hilltop shrine since yesterday. The Kerala government has banned the gathering of more than 5 people at the base camp from where devotees head to the hilltop shrine. A woman journalist working for a foreign media outlet and her colleague, a foreign national, attempted to trek early this morning and made it halfway with police protection. The two who claimed to not be devotees had to, however, abort the trek after they were met with protesters yesterday. 2 women devotees who attempted to trek up to the shrine were forced to return following intimidation and angry protesters. Several outfits today called for a day-long shutdown amid ongoing protests. Prohibitory orders are in place in and around Sabarimala. Heavy police security continues to be deployed along the route after they were outnumbered yesterday.
There have been no untoward incidents with regards to violence or anything. The most important thing that happened this morning was a foreign journalist who actually walked towards the Sabarimala Temple. A woman who was aged 46 walked towards the Sabarimala Temple, and she took this path, she took this 5-kilometer trek, and she almost made it halfway to the temple. But that was when devotees who were going to worship Ayyappa, male devotees, actually dissuaded her and recommended that she not take the trek. But the journalist also clarified that she did not go there to actually enter the shrine, but she went there as a journalist to see and report the situation from there. So as of today, this is the latest update we have, and also the movement towards Sabarimala for people and for pilgrims has become really hard because there is an all-state hartal or a strike in Kerala, and the transport systems are completely paralyzed, be it private vehicles or be it even public vehicles such as buses. The public transport system is totally paralyzed. So visitors and the pilgrims to the Sabarimala temple are slowly trickling in as of now. With video journalist Libin in Pamba, this is Siddharth, World is One.
Now, Kerala Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has blamed the protests against women's entry into the Lord Ayyappa shrine on the RSS and the Sangh, saying that encouraging such agitations would lead to banishment of backward classes from places like Sabarimala. And while joining us to talk a little bit more about this is Advaita Kala, author who joins us from Gurugram now. Advait, now, isn't it such a shame that more than 24 hours later, not a single woman between the age of 10 to 50 has actually been able to make it to that hilltop shrine? Isn't this simply a shame?
Well, I think the shame belongs to the Kerala government, which has done absolutely nothing to ensure, to really stand by their own declamations, which was that we will ensure that, the Supreme Court verdict is upheld. And where is Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan right now? He is in abroad somewhere, and he's really tweeting from abroad. Even the comment that you mentioned right now is something that he's tweeting from abroad. So he has no on-the-ground information. He should have been here. The protests have been building up for weeks and weeks. The media has been reporting it. The sentiment has been has been growing. Yesterday, an 85-year-old devotee who's been going to Sabarimala for the last 60 years committed suicide. This is a hugely emotive, sensitive issue, and you have the Chief Minister of Kerala missing in action and tweeting from some foreign country.
Yeah, but it's interesting that you're saying that the Kerala Chief Minister, of course, Advaita, is to blame for this. But isn't it other political outfits? I mean, and as the Kerala Chief Minister said, belonging to opposition parties like the BJP and the Congress, who are actually responsible for physically stopping these women from entering the shrine.
I extensively travel in Kerala, and there's a joke going around in terms of what the Kerala Chief Minister has said in terms of blaming the Sangh Parivar. People are saying this isn't communism, this is Kannurism, which is really where he's from, a district called Kannur, which is known for the violence against the RSS. And with the CPM being in power, it's seen an intensification of that violence. So really, he's reading from an old playbook. My question, very straightforward question, is that if if you were in charge, if you had taken a stance, rather than throwing accusations across the board, why didn't you take people into preventive custody? The very same people that you identify so easily today, you have enough people on the ground. This has been going on for weeks. You should have taken people into preventive custody if you didn't want it to escalate. So I think this is just mere politics, face saving, and really, I mean, what is he doing abroad at this point of time?
Well, fair enough. I take that point that the Kerala Chief Minister should have been here. The fact that, you know, this is something that was going to see protests. There should have been more security. We haven't seen any of that. But Advaita, you know, the larger question here being, what next? The fact that 24 hours have already passed and not a single woman has entered the shrine. I know there are two sides to this debate. Many women are supporting that, you know, the shrine should not be open to women. But we need to respect the law and the Supreme Court order here. But that clearly isn't happening.
You know, this was a powder keg. You know, everybody was sitting on this for hours and hours and days and days. Very clearly, you know, there were multiple routes that the Kerala government could have taken. The most obvious being the ordinance route. I want to, you know, inform you right now that there was a similar situation with a church and a court order. And the government at that time said that the situation is too grim to carry out that order. So there is precedent. This precedent means that devotees on the ground are finding a disparity in terms of the government's handling of the church issue vis-a-vis the Sabarimala issue. That's one aspect. Second aspect is, of course, the arguments that were made in court. The devotees feel that the Kerala government did not put forward a strong enough argument and have been appealing for the last so many weeks, telling him to take some stand, to listen to them. He has not engaged with them. He has not brought them to any kind of table and discussed it with them. And okay, if he did not want to do that, if he wanted to go ahead and implement the Supreme Court's verdict, which is also his responsibility. There was a choice he could have made. He could have been flexible and discussed it and looked at other options, maybe filed a review petition or gone the way that he chose to. Having chosen that option, why has he not got police deployed? There were reports yesterday where reporters were saying there wasn't enough police deployment. He could have called in the paratroops. He could have set things in motion. He could have prevented this kind of mob gathering.
But my point, Advaita, I get your point. I've already agreed to that. My only concern here is this goes beyond the Kerala Chief Minister. This is about people on the ground not respecting the court order, and there are political outfits and invested interests who are not respecting the court order, and this is about the fact that women are still not being allowed inside the premises of the shrine. So I think there's one thing to say that the Kerala Chief Minister is to blame, and he of course is to blame, but the larger question remains what next, and that certainly has not been answered.
You know, what next will not be answered for the simple reason that if you cannot guarantee law and order and safety for people who want to enter that temple, for women who want to enter that temple, it's an impasse. Nothing will happen because we've seen what has played out. We've seen journalists being attacked. We've seen all kinds of displays on screen. We've seen suicides. We've seen protests. We've seen hooliganism. We've seen everything because and this impasse will remain as long as the state government doesn't get its act together and decides that the law of the land stands supreme.
All right, Advaita Kala, thanks very much indeed for joining us with your thoughts on the fact that it's been more than 24 hours and, of course, not a single woman has actually reached the hilltop shrine at Sabarimala.